Welcome back, everybody. This little pen shot in the corner then. Ooh, hello. Let's do some drawing here. I really wanted to just draw the Hearthship. No rhyme or reason, just wanted to draw it again. And if this is your first time coming here, the Hearthship is sort of a character-ish. It's also a home for the game I'm sort of working on. Yeah, very keyword, sort of. Been working on it for many years, and slowly it's getting somewhere. And the idea of it is a solo co-op or co-op game where you control a lure, which is, in a sense, I guess the hero of the story, but maybe not quite. And your purpose is to keep the Hearthship alive. You are bound by it, and in a way, the Hearthship is bound to you. So it's somewhat of a nice mix of being needed, but also not at the same time. And it's a weird one, but as we continue to draw and figure out what the game is in more detail together, because at the moment I'm still not 100% sure, which I think is really cool actually, because the idea of this channel was to use it as a space of how it came to be, which I think is really cool actually. Seeing how it started and how it's going. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird sci-fi game, and there's elements of horror and also a lot of fantasy. So you have the Hearthship, which is your home, and it kind of looks like a giant bug. There's a lot of influences from all over the place, weirdly, and even things like Howl's Moving Castle and the Oms, the creatures in I always forget the name of the film actually, but it's another studio, Ghibli or Ghibli, however it's meant to be said. And yeah, it's just a strange home that you live in, because the world I'm at the moment, I'm just calling it the Waste. There's no real name for it currently. It's gone through a lot of different names over the years, so now I just call it the Waste, the world that you live in, because it's got a kind of cool, creepy name. It's where you reside, and it's not a particularly nice place. Somewhat reminiscent of purgatory, sort of a middle ground. It's odd. I mean, there's lots of things in this realm, in this world, that don't feel quite right. Things like there's something called a hearkening, where if you wish to sit, kind of like meditate, you can sit as long as you want, and strange strands will start coming from your body as the character, not the player. That would be terrifying, wouldn't it? Imagine that. And you can hear, well, almost read thoughts and feelings and messages left in the world itself. Sort of, the atmosphere is dense, even the air is thick, and it takes a lot of effort just to move. So that kind of works mechanically in the game as well, because you have like stamina in most games. You have it here as well, but I always refer to it as breaths. So each movement will cost breath, stamina. But thematically, you think, if an attack is 3 breaths, how many seconds is that? It's quite a lot, isn't it? You breathe 1, breathe 2, breathe 3. That's a long time to do a basic attack, but the idea of it is the atmosphere is so dense, it sort of changes how, you can move in the world, and I think that's quite a cool idea. And it kind of has a slower pace to the game, because as much as, the game has always been about the battles, and I still want this sense of slowing down. When you're exploring the world, you just got this, an abyss almost, and I want people to slow down when they play. Oh, I should have done that over here. Oh, never mind. Can I still get that way with that? No, I can't. That's fine. And things of that nature, really. I'm just trying to make the game have an odd pace to it. Even when you're in a fight, I want to feel like you have time to think. If it's taken so long to react and move, so things are like one breath, that would be an incredibly quick movement and almost instantaneous. And each character has a different sort of start setup. We've talked a lot about it in the channel, so if you're intrigued, please come along and see what you think. So each character has different sort of stats to begin with. There's some very slow ones, there's some very fast ones, and the stamina system is tied to the game and how it works. I think that's really cool. I think I've almost explained that well, but I have been wrong before. So just fancy doing some line work today. I was going to do dot work, but I think that could be quite frustrating to watch. It can be a little bit frustrating to actually do, though. I really enjoy it. I will at some point do some dot work, because that's sort of my jam. But we'll see. And so the world itself is very much one of decay and roots and all sorts of nice movement and weirdness. So you'll see me draw a lot of roots and strange plants. I don't think it's set on Earth, but maybe it is. Maybe somewhere lost in space and time a little bit. Still not sure though. As I said, it's a work in progress. I just want something. Really, the whole game was about wanting to make something that I could just pick up and play, without too much fuss, without too much setup, and just enjoy something, and each time playing just feeling a little bit different. And I always love the idea of dozens of characters, and you can play in any way you want to. You can be an explorer and simply traverse the worlds, and well, not the worlds, but the locations, and pick up side quests and discover weird secrets. And I really like the idea of having some sort of sense of continuity. So, if you were playing a scenario and it was kind of like, I don't know, you have to explore a certain area, you have to find that location card, explore it, and then when you do it, you get a special effigy for your character. Or even each character will have little missions that they can do at any time if they feel strong enough. And that might give them something really quite special that you can bring on to the next scenario. So I guess in the way I would do that was have somewhat chapters. I think that would be the best way to do it. I think there needs to be chapters or something like that, so you can't just do all these really difficult ones at the start, and vice versa. You can't just do easy ones at any time just to, sort of meta game. I have to figure that out, because that's quite a tricky little thing to figure out for me. I'll get there in the end. It just might take some time. Yeah. Cool. Cool. I need to rub this out as well. There's a lot of sketchy little pencil lines in the background, which is a little bit diverting. Not too bad, but I'm very aware that they're there. And I've got a little bit of a story of the idea of what I'm sketching, and as we get to the character down here, we can kind of go into it. Because I've been trying to figure out how does the game work in terms of... So I've rambled about this the other day loads, so I try not to do too much now, but I love the idea of, all the characters having these pipes and tubes, and as they go into the world, they're connected to the Hearthship, and it's sort of like a hive mind almost. And when you're gathering stuff in the world, you can kind of send it back using these little creatures called isopods, which you have to find and train, or be lucky enough just to buy one from a merchant already trained. Things like that, and that would be kind of like your pack horse in a way. What you load on the things that you've just found, and then instead of you having to carry it. Mind you, there's some characters that are very happy carrying extraordinary amounts of weight. Extraordinary? Yeah. Amounts of weight. So there's different ways of playing. There's some very physically weak characters, and then there's some absolute monsters, but the physical weak ones, they make up for it for many, many ways. Sort of like Ayla down here, which we'll go into. She's an incredibly valuable character simply because she's a natural healer. And as we go through the game, it'll become more apparent of how useful that is, because healing is not really the specialty of the characters in this world. It's a world that is in dire need of healing. Yeah. Sort of just hiding its foot, well, the Hearthship's foot into the world itself. Just here. So it's kind of cool rather than just having a spiky foot. Nothing wrong with spiky feet, don't get me wrong, but today I thought we could sort of hide it in the world. We haven't really done the world very much, and that's simply because I'm not massively into drawing worlds, mountains, and all these cool things. So I will obviously have to learn at some point to do them, otherwise, the game will be a bit limited if it's just the characters and the enemies, the monsters. Maybe I have to get an artist to help me. A real one at some point. Right. And then this is all sort of made up. There's no real rhyme or reason to this Hearthship. It's just however I kind of feel at the time. And I think that's quite cool as well, not to get stuck by, the Hearthship needs to look a certain way always, and it can be more of it could just be more how I feel at the time. I want it to look like, which I think is kind of cool. And I like these little squiggly lines as well. I think it adds sort of like movement to the metal of the ship, but also, I don't know, it just has a nice look. It reminds me of dot work in a weird way, just that, it gives, I don't know, it's a little bit of playfulness to it. And I think if a drawing is enjoyable, then no matter what it comes out looking like, then I think you've won, That's my theory anyway. I'll do some little flicky bits. like that. And some little shimmer bits. This will be an eye. Sounds weird, right? A ship with eyes, but yeah, that's what it has. It's a ship with eyes. I really like having these interchangeable bits here, in between the shell of the creature, the half ship. I don't know why, I just think that's cool. You know, it just has that sense of darkness in it, and anything could be in there. Usually homunculi, which, you know, if anyone knows what homunculi are, these little creepy people, you know, I'm not sure where they sort of originate in the world originally, but I really like little things like that, and they've made a little, well, they're quite an important little part of the game, actually. There's one character, Vigo, that actually controls them. Well, as control as you can imagine, because they are naughty little scoundrels. Difficult to trust. If anyone's seen Men in Black, that those weird little creatures are always, yeah, causing trouble. I imagine they're a little bit smaller than that, but not by far. And it's a little bit of an influence actually on me. You know, and that's quite cute as well, in a weird, creepy, alien way. But there's that film with Guy Pearce. What's it called? Don't Be Afraid of the Dark? Something like that. And yeah, if you haven't seen it, just go have a watch if you like that sort of weird, creepy stuff. And yeah, it's a great film. Well, I think so, but I have notoriously bad taste in films. You know, I still think one of the greatest films ever made was Tremors. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, giant worms, yep. Oscar worthy. There's flawless acting all the way through. Flawless storyline. Great film. I'm only partially being sarcastic. I absolutely love that film. I think it's great. Where was I? Oh, I've gone on a tangent and got completely lost again. And if you are new to the channel, me getting lost in thought and rambling on is kind of how we do things here. And if you are an old subscriber and friend of the channel, it's not getting any better, is it? Still losing my thought throughout. Cool. Let's do a little thing here as well. So these are sort of like the limbs. And in the game, the purpose of the limbs that you can upgrade is there's different parts of the ship that do different things. There's a sort of a hunting platform that allows for the hunting parties to leave, and as you upgrade it, you'll be able to set traps the night before, and then it's a sort of a risk-reward sort of system of just rolling to see if you've caught anything, and if not, you have to reset it. But if you roll badly, you can catch something more than, you know, just a little bit of food, which can be useful if you're ready for a battle. And then there's, what else is there? Oh, with the legs and stuff, there's, if you upgrade it, you can actually mine certain things. So if you find a forest location, you can place the half ship on it, and instead of your characters having to look for wood or any other type of resources like that, it will do it itself, which, you know, obviously it's one of those things you upgrade early on if you can, but once you've done it once, you never have to kind of worry about wood as long as you're lucky with the locations. And then, you know, there'll be certain characters that I'll be able to give you hints to different locations, and even be able to put, you know, a static location every time you start the game in the deck. But yeah, more about that another time when it's a bit more bit more final, and I really have a good idea how it's going to work. At the moment, it's just, millions of words on Google Docs over the years, and most of it's absolute rubbish. I read through the other week, and I had no idea what it was on about. It's a completely different game, actually. Originally, it was set in a weird, creepy house, and I completely forgot all about that. So yeah, there's definitely not now. Though I did like reading my old ideas, and absolutely obscene ideas, really. Yeah. Cool. It's a bit darker in here than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was really bright when I first came in, and then I was messing around with the camera and sort of trying to think what to do. Because I came into the video earlier actually today, and I just thought I'd just draw off the cuff and just do ink, and hopefully it would make me think of something as I was going along. But I got to a point where I actually looked at the drawing I was doing, and I was like, oh, this is crap. So I turned it off and deleted the video, and I thought, well, need another go. So here we are, having another go, and it's gone a lot better this time. Even though I quite like just drawing completely by, making up as I go along, like the plans and stuff. I think I generally do need some sort of plan to go by. Otherwise, I can get a bit stuck, and I don't get massively frustrated, but I can kind of get in my head then, and I'm like, oh, can't draw today, But I try to draw every day, But that work stuff gets in the way, doesn't it? Oh, terrible. Right, where should we go here? I don't really know what the plan here was. Is that? I'm not sure what that is, that bit. That'd be kind of cool, actually. Maybe we can... I've smudged it a little bit. Whoops. Yeah, well, I'll come back to that. I've got a piece of paper I can use instead. Yeah, I'll use that. I don't want to smudge it any more than I am. Actually, behind this, that's our 500 subscriber sub special. Look at that. Little dragon being very naughty. I will be very careful not to damage it. It's just... it's always close by. Always makes me very happy seeing it. Little dragon was on the wall actually up to the other day, but I don't know what it is. Every time I put it up, the little dragon falls off. Naughty little dragon. It's lovely paper, actually. It's very high GSM, I think. I don't really know anything about paper. I pretend to know, but I actually don't. I haven't a clue. Oh yeah, what was I saying earlier? Oh, well, a few changes for the channel. So, I would like to start working on the real game, in the near future. And one of the things I really want to do is have a certain type of paper, like a sepia. And I feel like that. And I guess, see, I have a bit of a conundrum. Oh, that's a word you don't use every day now. Conundrum. A bit of a thought process going on in the back of my head about the game itself and the artwork, and I love doing traditional stuff like this because it just feels different. It's nice to have the paper and to touch it, and there's always a little bit of risk, when you're inking and you just go slightly outside the line. You're like, oh no, I've ruined it. But there is that little bit of risk reward, and it feels nice to draw. But also, if I was to draw digital, which I've done a lot of digital work in my day, not a lot, but a fair amount. And if I was to draw digital for the game, it'd be a lot easier, and I could do all sorts of things, and you know, the same person, a very kind person that does all my editing, also does all my colors and chooses and helps me in every aspect, really. So that could be fantastic, and the fact that, you know, I really struggle, you know, with colors. Anyway, but I could do digital, and it would be, I think it would be beautiful, you know, quite easily quite beautiful and safe. But then, do we lose something, you know, if it is digital? So I suppose with, you know, AI and all that world that we're living in now, going on with the art and whatnot, I find like, you know, I'm not the best artist, but it could be quite nice to have that, you know, traditional drawing. I don't know. It's just a thought. Just a thought. I haven't quite decided yet. And I think there's pros and cons for digital and traditional. I haven't quite got to the point of knowing which one's right for me. I mean, I think maybe I do, since I'm not using digital. You know, I've been doing this the whole time. So maybe I've already made up my mind and just don't know. Could be that, couldn't it? Yeah. Don't know. If you have any thoughts, I'd love to hear. I mean, I suppose haven't done any digital drawing on here before on this channel. I wonder how I'd go about it. I wonder if the camera would pick up the tablet. Don't know. Maybe. It looks like a little house door, doesn't it? It's very silly. Okay. I rambled too much and I've completely thrown myself off now. I have no idea what I was talking about. Not a clue. Oh, nothing new there. What was I talking about? Don't know. Probably nothing too important, really. I imagine it was about 6 different things, and I've just sidestepped all of them. Oh, I'm really worried about my drawer now, so he's going to sit over there. Right. I think the dragon was fine, but I don't know. Just a bit worried. Actually, one good thing about today is been a bit overcast and a bit cooler. I'm not sweating like usual when I'm drawing in here. I've got this little cute room that I'm in, and I mean very little. I can just about fit the desk and me, and but it does get really hot sometimes. It's a nice complaint, isn't it, for someone in the UK complaining about being too hot. You know what, normally? I can hear a pigeon. This is why I'm going to start rambling on about the magpie, but normally when I'm drawing, there's a magpie that comes. I swear he sees me draw, and he's like, oh, my time to shine, and you come over and you'll chat and chat. It's really cute, but very naughty. Very naughty little birdie. Cool. Cool. Right. It's a bit all over the place. Excuse me. It was a bit all over the place, that little bit of drawing here, but I think I got away with it. Maybe. But, oh, you know what I was talking about probably 20 minutes ago? Pipes and cables and stuff have always been something that I've loved. And the characters in this, there's a couple of different types, but the character I want to talk about today is the lures, and they're your main characters. I don't know what my hand's doing, it's talking for me. So they're your main characters, and the whole idea about them is they are very customizable. You can make the character however you want. So if you get a sort of the spellcaster, healer, Blightborn character, Ayla, you can turn her into a tank if you want to. There's certain ways of doing it, or if you get the very, very powerful Herloff character, the sort of quintessential barbarian. If you want to, you can make him a healer. Things like that. I like the choice always in games, and that's sort of the idea of this game. What was I talking about? Oh, forever the professional. Right. Sometimes I actually, very narcissistically, watch the videos after I've published them a few days later, and I think, oh, I wonder how they were, and I listen to myself rambling on, losing track of thought of things that are very, very simple over and over again, and I think, what a mess. What are you rambling about? Sometimes I even watch and I think, I have no idea what I was talking about. Like, no idea where I was going. Isn't that funny? Right, okay, so another little cable there. Oh, good, it's a seagull now, not a magpie. But yeah, sometimes I watch, the video after the editing and just try and think, what was I trying to talk about? I don't know. I think sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. I'm just making words. Mind you, if you've never drawn and talked at the same time, sort of narrating or just having a chat, really, as you draw, it's a really weird experience, and I'm still trying to get used to it now, because sometimes I kind of forget which one to do. I almost forget to draw, or I almost forget to speak. I mean, sometimes I do forget to speak, and then I'm like, oh yeah, crap, I'm in a video, I need to talk. That's the whole purpose. But yeah, if you haven't tried it, you should give it a go, and let me know how it goes, because it feels strange to me to do it. I've been doing this for a couple of months now, and I still find it incredibly hard. But yeah, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's an easy thing, I'm not sure. Could well just be me on this one. Can't wait for people to be like, yeah, it's easy, man. I'll be like, ugh. Oh yeah, right, my bad. So yeah, like I said before, it's nice to sort of have a bit of a sketch, just a plan, and kind of make it up as you go along, like I'm doing here. So I need to extend the body. It's right down here, actually. I finished it there for some reason. So if we draw a little pouch, sort of some straps and leather. Oh, that was it. I was talking about the different characters. Hey, I got there in the end. It just took me 10 minutes. There's lots of different characters, and they all have these mechanical contraption cables on them, and it sort of connects them to the Hearthship, and it's sort of a safety line as well. And I was trying to figure out of late how it should be, because I love visually how it looks, and I think it's fantastic. And even if it thematically doesn't work with the game, I'm trying to make it fit. But I wonder if the lures, because thematically the idea of having cables on the character intertwining with the world, and I've sort of talked about this before, you could always say like the cables are sort of not entirely physical, they're sort of ethereal in a sense, which kind of works. But there's something about the idea of in the wild by yourself, and sort of you're on your own. And I really like that as well. So I wonder if, thematically in the story, the characters that you play with haven't earned their place on the Hearthship yet. And how you earn it is maybe there's a certain quest or there's something you must vanquish or explore, but most likely vanquish, because at the end of the day, I like the idea of fighting monsters. That's just cool. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what's happening in this world. It's like it's almost sort of like a predator thing, isn't it? You have to earn your place and all that stuff, which I think is kind of cool. Where's that leg would be? Would the leg be there? Hip, thigh, knee. Yeah. Cool. A bit of ankle, Achilles heel. Ugh. I've got a massive phobia about I don't know if I should talk about this, but I have a bit of a phobia about Achilles heels. I don't know what it is, but honestly, you walk downstairs and you clip it on the step. Ugh. No. Terrible. Absolutely awful. Anyway. Even when I draw it, I feel a bit like, a bit grossed out. Isn't it strange? I think I've talked about my other fear as well of puppets. Puppets freak me out, but there's quite a few little puppet things in this world, and I think that's my way of sort of dealing with that thing that freaks me out. Maybe. I don't know. Or just a glutton for punishment. Yeah. Cool. So, either if it's a character you haven't seen me draw or you're new to the channel, she's kind of like a spellcaster character, and what she does is she gathers ingredients and then she can use them in her spells at any point, as long as she's got the breath and the ingredients to do so. She also has a large creature that lives under the ground below her at all times, apart from when she's on the Hearthship, I imagine. Never really thought about that. But this creature is a group of those of her same Druidic family line, and she's killed quite a few of them because she's a bit naughty, and she's gained all the power of this creature that lives underneath, and it gives her all these abilities and creepy stuff like that. Kind of like what we talked about at the start. You're not really you're not really playing as the heroes of the story. A lot of them are not so much heroes as villains. Yeah, which I like. I like anti-heroes. Right, we could put something in her hand or something like that. That could be kind of cool. And then we'd do the rest of this mechanical arm. I think we need a little cable here as well, just to give that bit more movement here. Cool. And we can do some vines and stuff, but because she's sort of the natural world and she's somewhat magical and entwined with nature, sort of. I wonder if when she steps, the roots and whatnot sort of climb and clamber. I think that's just quite a cool image as well. Cool. Right, we're kind of right, aren't we? What should we do now? We could put something in her hand, or we could have the robot arm sort of holding it, sort of like bring her in. So the Hearthship itself is kind of a weird one. I'm a little bit on the fence of its origins and its, what's actually in it. What was it? There was a point where it was just this giant creature that sort of became more mechanical than organic. to survive, it needs to promise others safety. You know, kind of that. Is that the word? Symbiotic? I don't know. It's been a long day. My brain's not really working very well. And that was one of the ideas, is this giant monster was sort of learned to find what these humanoids needed, the most of all, and that was safety. And it sort of created itself. I think that's quite a cool way, sort of a sentient creature. And another one, it was a deity, and even though it's very mechanical looking, it's one idea was it's always been, it's just always been here, and that's just how its organic properties are, sort of mechanical and tubular, and I guess these would be, the same as veins. Yeah, so that was another one. What else was there? It was created. That was another one, by these creatures that believe themselves to be deities. And one of the ideas was you would, in a sense, be working for these creatures that lived on the Hearthship, and you would have to worship them, and they were not good creatures, and the whole purpose of the game was to get strong enough to defeat them, to take the Hearthship yourself, which I always thought was quite a cool idea. Yeah, it's had lots of little ideas, just none that I think are quite right. But one day we'll get there. Probably not today, though. Still not sure what to do with this arm. I should have not completed that bit so I could continue it. Let me just make sure I'm focused. And with that, have a sip of tea. Which has gone really cold because I didn't realize I've been drawing so long. Okay, so yeah, we're going to have a robot sort of arm here, and it's going to wrap around to this point. We'll leave a little gap there just in case I need it, and we'll connect a few bits. And that one, and we'll do a few little pipies, and a little connection bit there. Yeah, cool. And we'll have maybe a sort of like a shackle claw that just kind of wrapping around her hand, like so. That's kind of cool. Yeah, so you can't actually see your hand. This thing is probably grabbing her to inspect if she's dangerous, or, I mean, she definitely is dangerous, but maybe the Hearthship doesn't realize how dangerous she is. That could be cool. Cool. And then this was the other part of the arm, which I forgot about until now. So that could be wrapping around there, and put some bits. Nice. Cool. How are we doing for time? 44 minutes. That's a fair amount of time already, isn't it? We've only done about halfway. So maybe we can just finish this little bit and then call it a day. Yeah. I'm going to do this little bit up here as well. I don't want to just leave that, missing. Ooh, bad line, but we're okay. And do a little bit more. These wiggly wigglies. Even though the wiggly wigglies, they do have some artistic properties, and they're not just for fun. I mean, they are a little bit fun. Cool. yeah, we'll just do those like that. Oh yeah, I've never really talked about these things. So everything on this ship, on the half ship, has a reason for it, and these are bits that can be upgraded. The eyes, I mean, I think that kind of makes sense because it's kind of like your scouting point, your your lighthouse in a way, and upgrading them, be able to open up more choices for locations, more locations, things like that. You know, quite an easy one. These things that kind of look like exhausts, I guess. They're the sensors that allow you to actually put out heat. Not sensors, sorry. What's that? That was a line. That was a piece of doesn't matter. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, you can put out heat. It's not a sensor. Sorry, I'm halfway through another thought. They're sort of like the emitters for heat. So as you go off into the wastes, it can become very cold, and the further you are, the more times you'll have to roll for your immunity, which is your how well you are, you know, fight off disease and things like that. Yeah, that's it really. But you can upgrade it so you can go further without having to worry about these sorts of things and that sort of thing. I think that's really cool. That was all. I don't think we talked about it before. Have we? Maybe we have. Probably have, and I've forgotten. But yeah, that's what those things are. I'm always drawing on the ship. So now you know. Yeah. Cool. I had a lot of coffee today. I think it shows. Yeah, I hope this is showing up on camera okay as well, because it feels really dark at the moment to me, but I think it'll be fine. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to name this video because we've done quite a bit of the half ship stuff before, haven't we? Also, this kind of looks like a creature, so I'm not really sure. Sort of was in a bit of a creature mood earlier. Still am now, which is probably why this looks more robotic than, well, more creaturey than usual. I don't think creaturey is a word, man. Nearly the weekend, actually. Ooh, it's exciting. Can't wait. Can't wait for the weekend. I've got no plans. I just looking forward to it. Adventures. Bumping into things. Eating lots of nice food. Drinking too much tea and coffee. That sounds about right. Right, what should we do? There's quite an abyss here. I feel like we need something to sort of use that space. There's a cable just hanging out there, I've just realised, but we'll do some little things like that so it looks like going into a little hole. Obviously I had a plan for earlier and then forgot and then closed. Oh, I didn't forget. It's right there. I can see the gap. Right, take two. Can't see because my pen's in the way. Oh, there we go. That's where it was. It's like a little creature then had to find his home. Oh no, I did a cardio rule break. Oh, that's awful. Look, that line goes straight in there. Shouldn't be like that. Anyway. So we'll just do a few little details now just to sort of finish off. I don't think I'll do all this bit up here either. I'm just going to finish off what we've already done and leave it as that, I think. I think that's nice. Maybe we can continue with that with part two. It's been quite fun, actually. I mean, we could do a few more characters here. We could use the whole page, couldn't we? There's no reason why not. That might be quite nice to do the whole page. But what I will do, before we end it, is rub out all the pencil that we've used, because I think the pencil can kind of get in the way. And I've noticed the last video that I did with the weird pirate ship thing, the pencil really kind of made the image quite choppy, and it was quite hard to decipher what was going on. So yeah, even though everyone was really nice and didn't say anything, I saw that and I thought, wow, that looks crap. But you know, when I was doing it and when I looked at the thing originally, I thought it looked good. But no, I don't think it did, actually. I think it looked a bit all over the place, a bit messy. So yeah, so I'll have to make sure that this one doesn't sort of do the same thing. So yeah, we'll do some rubbing out. Yeah, don't normally do rubbing out, but maybe I need to do that as part of the thing. Part of the thing? You what? I know what I'm talking about. I think. Cool. I always remind me of foxgloves, or foxgloves? Is that the flower? The one the bees go in? Can't remember. Right, there we go. How are we doing? Still go right? Am I on camera? Hey. Right, that looks pretty... Not very happy with her weird gown tail thing. Don't know why, it just didn't look right this time. Don't know why. That's her other arm. Do some little mold and decay and fungi all down her clothing. That's how it normally is. That looks fine. We need to finish this. What should we do? We could just... You know, I had a really creepy idea once of the Hearthship was like a deity, like a sentient being, and literally had a face in there. And one of the sketches on my wall at the moment has it. I think it did. That's probably hidden. So, oh, there it is. I wonder if I could do that. It's quite a cool idea, but maybe I won't do it this time. I'll just make sure I'm focused in there. And yeah, we could just draw lots of pipes and stuff. Can we have some darkness? That might be quite cool. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. But no doubt at some point I'll go back and do a different version and 100 other different versions till I get the right world building in my head. I think that's the big part of what I really want to make sure I get across is everything in the world that I draw, I want it to thematically make sense in the game itself. I think that's really important to me. I need that connection always. Yeah, drawing loads of cables and pipes and I'm talking about connections. Funny. I mean, not super funny, but okay, it's not funny, but you know what I mean. God, I'm flagging a little bit today. Right, we are getting close to finishing this one. Cool. It's just nice sometimes as well just to draw, you know, the Hearthship in the world, even if there's no real reason for it. It's just a sketchy little, you know, bit of practice for the line art. Do a little thingy there. Are we doing anything here? Cool. That looks alright. And then I'll do another one down here. Put a bit more darkness in there. Cool. Nice. So yeah, I don't think I've asked, and if I have, sorry for repeating myself, but hope you're having a very good day, and what you've been up to. How's everything going? Is anyone doing any weird, interesting things in their life? Or doing some nice drawing, or going anywhere lovely? I went to the zoo the other day. It's crap. There's no animals. So I think animals should be in the wild. It's pretty cool to get children involved and people involved to see them. I guess that's what sparked my love for animals when I was younger. But yeah, the zoo was just, I don't know, wasn't anything there. It's really weird. Not sure if that's a good thing or bad thing. I haven't really done anything else other than that. Cool. I think we'll finish off there, and I'll do some rubbing out now. That's not doing very well. Let me pause and then I'll do this because it'd be really noisy. Right, there we go. Done a little bit of rubbing out. So we got Ayla being introduced to the Hearthship itself. I'm going to do it as we talk. We've got a few pipes, one or two of them. Talked a little bit about the world and everything else that's in it. Yeah, and I think the next video we can revisit this one and carry on, because I'm quite enjoying drawing the Hearthship as always, and yeah, I hope you're enjoying the video so far. And yeah, give me a shout if you have any thoughts or what you think we should add to it, because I always like a little bit of a chat, and I always appreciate ideas and just thoughts, really. Yeah, so right. Hope you enjoyed yourself, and you all take care. Goodbye.